Hi everyone, my name is James Feeney. Welcome to or back to my channel. It hasn't been very long. I stepped aside to record my wrap up for my Oracle guides and broke that down for myself. And I already had my one for the tarot done. And after having completed the Oracle one, not that I found it completely useless, I just found that the tarot breakdown and wrap up for myself was a lot more insightful and interesting, and that I had more to draw from. I guess in the way that I described it, I think that that's a product of being a lot more comfortable with tarot decks and tarot itself, and using those decks a lot more than I use any of the given oracle guides that I mentioned. Basically, aside from the Weaver's Oracle, which I reference very frequently, but I reference tarot a lot more. So all those council members are key figures, I guess you could say, in my life. So in terms of them relating to aspects of myself, they're a lot more. They play larger roles. They're bigger aspects of myself. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. So if you wonder why I'm not speaking on any of the Oracle decks, it's just because I felt in terms of myself, their voices were a little bit weaker, or they weren't as, they didn't really provide much in terms of illuminating anything within myself. So without further ado, I'll reference the deck, but I'll just share like a few sentences, I guess, from the tarot decks, and if phrasing it in terms of so taking how I described a deck, and okay, maybe we'll cut that part out. So I'm back again. There's so many freaking interruptions today. I can't. It's like impossible to film a video for me. So without further ado, I will be sharing a few sentences. So for the tarot of the alchemical magnum opus, I investigate the esoteric and incorporate it into my science. And by science, I think I meant like my more practical life, or things that seem more mundane or rational. That's how I guess I incorporate more esoteric things into that. Things I thought were so complex are actually so simple, and I could use more of that. So I need to get more in touch with that part, and remind myself of that a lot more, because I think that is the case. I'm simple in my delivery, so I guess speaking plainly, I'm able to speak plainly and get across messages, which it's so weird, like seeing these as like aspects of myself and like speaking about it in terms of myself, but we'll continue. So for the Wildwood, I am unconventional. I do not fit within any box. I am wild, fun, and fiery. So I like that. I don't know. I think that's pretty interesting and cool, I guess. And I am, like, I guess not paraphrasing, but slightly changing the wording of certain sentences just so they actually make sense in terms of sorry, my dog is running around. In terms of speaking about myself, I need the sentence to make sense grammatically. So for the Spirit Keepers, I am a diplomat. I can look at things in different ways. I can move fluidly between beliefs and ways of being. I put myself to work. And in putting myself to work, when I was like talking about speaking on that deck or that guide, council member, putting myself to work in terms of like study and being focused and having sort of like a regimen in terms of like study and learning. So moving on, next is, I didn't write what deck that was. Oh, this was the Anima Mundi. I can be objective. I take the environment into account. I consider factors that don't directly impact me, but do indirectly. So I guess that's about foresight and considering more than just myself and my ability to look at things further out. and not just care about them, but consider them. So I guess a bigger picture, helping with perspective and bigger picture. Um, then we have the Tarot de Saint Croix, and I have suffered extreme loss and am in a stage of rebirth. I am very well versed in emotional landscapes. I am beaten, but I'm broken. I have a kind and big heart. So that one felt like a nice warm hug, although I'm not sure about, I wasn't sure about like the extreme loss. Thankfully, I haven't had any outright extreme losses that I can think of. But yeah, I guess in certain aspects of life, things I could consider losses of some type have taken place. I think I like to maybe downplay what is considered a loss, just because I think of like what others might go through and the losses that they might have, and the magnitude of those, and just feeling as though maybe smaller losses in my life are not really worthy of being called losses. So maybe that was trying to validate that. Who knows? So much to unpack. And then we have the Dark Goddess Tarot. I am dark and commanding. I am respected and heard, and I have mysterious and profound insights. So I really sound a lot like some like Oracle of Delphi, and some like misty cave on the hill where people come to consult me. So that one's interesting. I'm not 100% sure how much I find that to be applicable, but I like it, so I will look further into that. I think I'm going to take all of these and really try to dig into them more, and maybe I will come back with more to say on any of these things and how I feel that they connect and correlate. And then we have the Philarkos Tarot. I am creative, I am in touch with my soul, I push boundaries, and that one was really awesome. I think that these are all, a lot of these, and like are ideals and things that I would like, or reading them now, I find them almost like harder to believe when I'm trying to pin them to myself than I am to a deck. And I almost like wish that they were the case, like not for all, I mean loss. I don't hope that I have experienced loss, but I do hope that if and when I do experience the loss that I spoke of, that I do enter that rebirth phase. But just the more complimentary statements, I think I have a lot more difficulty in allowing myself to feel as though they relate to who I am when I'm speaking about myself, and when I'm speaking about a third party that represents myself, as in those council members. It's a lot easier for me to speak in a more complimentary way that touches upon certain aspects of myself that maybe I don't feel worthy of acknowledging or embodying fully. And so I need to look to these third-party things that I project into. So yeah, there's a lot to look into, and I think that this tag and the process of all of this was just so illuminating for me. So I want to thank Natalia very much, and she has so many awesome tags out right now, and I am gearing up to do another one. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna keep this going while I have some time, and I might film one more. So once again, thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you're all having an awesome day or evening, maybe morning. Yeah, okay.